Thank you very much. I'm very happy to welcome all of you to our first BLACAZ webinar that will be discussed today with Pascal Bornet. We're going to discuss about how intelligence automation can grow your business. And I'm very happy to introduce you the host. So the first host will be me. So I'm Frederic. I've been in Singapore for 20 years now, in the insurance business for more than 15. I've met Maxime a couple of years ago, and from a traditional business, which is an insurance brokerage company, we decided to develop an insurtech platform allowing our customers not only to purchase, but to manage the entire insurance process 100% online. In this process, we've met Pascal Bornet, that I'm going to introduce you, but perhaps Maxime, you want to say a word before?
Yes, sure. So very happy to kickstart this webinar. Thank you very much for all to have registered for this event. So we're gonna run you through how BLACAZ we disrupted our traditional business model to a fully automatized and digital one with the help of the principles by Pascal on intelligent automation. And I'm very happy to have yes, Pascal on the stage today. So Frédéric, if you want to introduce Pascal.
Yes, absolutely. And before, I would like to thank very, very much the Singapore Manufacturing Federation and the French Chamber of Commerce who have also worked with us in this webinar. And I hope it will be very informative. So Pascal, thank you very much for joining. Pascal is currently based in San Francisco in the Silicon Valley. So it's the evening for him. Pascal was my neighbor, and we met last year when we started the BLACAZ project and the fundraising. We discussed at the swimming pool of our condo, and Pascal mentioned that he was about to release his book about intelligent automation and how to simplify the business. And from that book, we started to create the foundation of our platform. So in February, before lockdown last year, we were traditional insurance portal website, and out of the lockdown, after a few months of work with Pascal, with Maxime and the rest of the team, we became a 360 insurance platform. So I would like to thank you very much, Pascal, and I will let him start the webinar presentation.
Thank you, Frédéric. Can you hear me well?
Very well, Pascal. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay, very good. So let me. It's really a pleasure to be here with you today. Thanks for the invitation. And as you explained, Frédéric, this was really a great experience to be able to test and try and implement all the principles that my co-authors and I have put into this book, Intelligent Automation. And I think the achievement that we've succeeded is really I'm very proud of this, and I'm very happy to be able to share about this today. Okay. So I've prepared a few slides that I would like to share with you. Is the camera? The camera is working. Okay.
The camera is working. We can see you very well. Good evening.
Okay. Good evening from San Francisco. Okay. Let me share with you a few slides first. Okay, to introduce the book and what we've done. I'll try during this presentation to share with you what we've done at BLACAZ and how the BLACAZ experience has been useful to confirm those principles that we've set into the book.
And how useful it has been for BLACAZ to set up and start this digital transformation.
Exactly. So, okay, without further ado, let me share my screen. Okay, to make sure I have enough bandwidth, I will stop the video as well. Okay, so what I'm going to share with you today is the content of Intelligent Automation, the book that I've written and published 6 months ago with 2 co-authors. One is Jan Barkin. Jan Barkin is a successful entrepreneur. He built the first pure play advisory firm in the field of intelligent automation. And this was 6 years ago. He sold it last year for more than 60 million to a large group presented in the NASDAQ. So a successful entrepreneur, he brought a lot of experience. The second co-author is Jeroen Wiers. Jeroen Wiers is an academic. He is the Vice Dean of the National University of Singapore. He's a professor of marketing, especially service marketing, and he brought a lot in terms of the structure to the book and the experience in automation in service marketing. Okay, I'm bringing to the book, I've brought 20 years of experience in digital transformation. I founded and led the AI and automation practices at McKinsey and at Ernst & Young, EY. So the insights that I will present are coming from this book. I mean, my co-authors and I are very lucky and very happy with the fact that while the book has been released 6 months ago, it's been an Amazon's bestseller since then. Before I go further into the slide, please note that I will often use the acronym IA to refer to intelligent automation. Let me start with a few awful pictures that I think we don't want to see anymore. These pictures show some of the realities of our world today that IA aims at changing forever. I took this picture last year while supporting the finance department of a multinational company. And looking at this, it's not surprising that, according to a Gallup research, 85% of the employees worldwide are not fulfilled by their work. They think it's too manual, repetitive, and tedious. IA enables to free up employees from laborious and transactional tasks, and it refocuses them on more value-added and exciting work activities. Basically, it augments them, transforming them into superhumans able to generate insights from millions of data in just a few seconds. Now, let's move to the next picture. And believe me, I took these pictures only a few months ago. This is still the customer experience that we can see today. Spending hours in a queue to meet with the bank agents or to get a train ticket. 96% of unhappy customers don't bother complaining. And 91% of them will simply leave and never return. So based on my experience with IA, companies can increase customer satisfaction by over 50%, while reducing the contact center workload, for example, by over 50%. What is IA? IA aims at automating end-to-end processes on computers and delivering business outcomes on behalf of the employees. So basically working hands in hands with them. IA uses a combination of methods involving people, organization, and processes, and technologies. And when we talk about technologies, if this circle is artificial intelligence, mimicking human intelligence, if this second circle is software robotics, so basically mimicking human motor capability in a software-based environment, and if this circle is workflow and cloud platforms enabling data entry, routing, and storage, IA simply sits at the crossroad of those fields. And as a result, IA increases process speeds, reduces cost, enhances compliance and quality, and optimizes decision outcomes. And ultimately, it significantly improves customer and employee experience and boosts revenues. And we've been able to see that in the BLACAZ experience. During our research, we took the list of the largest Fortune 500 companies, and we computed for each of them their profit per employee. we sorted them by the highest profit per employee in order to identify the companies producing more with less people. So basically the companies that are the most automated. It's not surprising to see Google, Facebook, Apple, Microsoft topping this ranking. This research proved that the most efficient companies in the world are extensively leveraging intelligent automation. So IA is a business imperative. About half of the S&P 500 companies are likely to be replaced over the next 10 years. IA is not only a question of competitiveness, but also of business survival. And I think we can witness this in the COVID times that we are living in currently. The companies which are digitalized and automated resist better and even thrive. And this is the case of BLACAZ. I'm not afraid to say that companies that can't sell products and services online, companies that can't collect the cash online, that can't motivate their employees remotely or manage their operations remotely with minimal human intervention are only alive today thanks to government subsidies. Based on my experience, IA provides 20 to 60% productivity improvement, and this is available across function and across industries. So how does IA work? And this is exactly what we've implemented at BLACAZ. IA is achieved by mimicking the 4 capabilities that employees use in performing their work activities. As you can see on this slide, we have vision with the eyes, we have execution, which are the hands and legs, we have language, which are mouth and ears, and thinking and learning, which is our brain. And a very important point is that people are in the center of this framework. And indeed, people build IA and people operate IA. Okay, it cannot be done in isolation. So each of those capabilities leverage a portfolio of technologies. The vision capability provides computers the ability to analyze images, recognize letters, objects, and view the environment. The overarching technology supporting this capability is computer vision, which is mainly enabled by deep learning techniques. We've used in the BLACAZ project optical character recognition, which is based on this computer vision technology that helps to identify letters, recognize words on a document, and be able to process this information. Here is another example of in China, the capacity given to people to withdraw money using computer vision and face recognition. Going to the next capability, which is execution. Execution allows computing programs to accomplish actions in a digital environment. Think of typing, clicking, opening applications, sending emails. The technologies that are supporting this capability include smart workflow, low-code platforms, robotic process automation. And again, here, this has been a key capability that we've used in the BLACAZ project, where we've been able to create a workflow that supports any client to be onboarded as a client and to select any of the products completely online, 100% online. We've used also robotic process automation to help process some information in the background to help fasten the process. As another illustration of the execution capability, here is a contest, man versus machine, man versus a robotic process automation program. Those two are performing the same process, which is about creating a report on computer. Let us see that now. Man versus machine. Okay, you can see the man at the top. This person is entering information into a platform to create a report. And at the bottom of the screen, you can see the robot doing exactly the same process, Okay, the robot has finished after 16 seconds. And this is the outcome of the contest. So the man took 15 minutes and 5 seconds and did 2 typo errors. The robot did all this in 16 seconds without any errors. Next capability, the third capability I'm presenting to you is the language capability, which gives the machine the ability to speak, write, interact, interpret, and derive meaning from human language. The overarching technology is called natural language processing. We've used it in the BLACAZ project to create a chatbot that is able to interact with the client, guide them through the process, and interact with them if they have any questions. The last capability I wanted to introduce is thinking and learning capability, which gives computer the ability to analyze, create insights, predict, make decisions, and learn. So the key technology here is machine learning and data visualization. Despite those wonderful capabilities, while more than 50% of the organizations around the world have already started their intelligent automation journey, and this is according to Deloitte, less than 15% of them have been able to scale it, and this is according to McKinsey. So now the key question is how to succeed an IA transformation at scale. And I'm going to share with you 5 initiatives that the companies that have succeeded these transformations have implemented. And this is based on our experience and our research. To start with, those companies have implemented 2 fundamentals. The first one, as you can see in the middle of this slide, is people are in the center. Always put people in the center of an IA transformation. IA is built by people for people. Without people, there is no IA. And without IA, there are still people. I'm used to tell that to my client to provoke their thoughts on that. The second key point, and you can see it at the bottom of this graph, start with a strong and healthy foundation. Management support and sponsorship are critical. We've never seen a company that has been able to transform successfully using intelligent automation without a strong involvement and sponsorship from management. Capability building and change management are also critical in succeeding such a transformation. Thirdly, combine the IA capabilities to create synergies and be able to automate complex end-to-end processes. So automating end-to-end processes instead of isolated tasks is the most optimal way to increase impact and give the capacity to address the most complex use cases. So this combination is not only at technology level, but also at teams and competencies level. Successful companies have been able to merge, or at least to create bridges between their different teams, combining data science, combining their teams in automation, in customer experience, process excellence, risks, and others. This is an example to illustrate that point, where I mean, don't try to read all the information on this slide because it's very busy. This is an onboarding process for a financial institution. It is composed of 8 steps, as you can see. It is now fully automated end to end. And as you can see, this automation has been possible by combining different technologies, such as intelligent workflows, robotic process automation, computer vision, machine learning, APIs, and more. While this end-to-end process, those 8 steps, used to take up to 20 days to onboard a client, it can now be performed in minutes. And as a result, it provides higher customer and employee experience and reduces costs by more than 50%. The fourth critical success factor that I want to share with you is democratizing intelligent automation by using technologies such as low-code platforms that require limited skills to build IA applications. They make IA accessible to most business users. So basically, when more people are using those technologies, you have more hands, and then the implementation goes faster. But most importantly, it helps to drive the ownership and acceptance of IA. When each and everyone in the company is enabled, empowered to automate their own day-to-day work and improve it thanks to those technologies, ownership comes. And when ownership comes, the acceptance of the transformation is increased. And when many people have the same feeling, it allows to shift the company culture to more digitization and automation. And again, here, that's exactly what we've implemented at BLACAZ using HubSpot. HubSpot, as for those of you who don't know, is a system that is a very solid system, very robust, but most importantly, that is very user-friendly, and we've been able to have the support of the whole team in this transformation thanks to this user-friendliness. This is an example of another tool which is very similar to the tool we've used at BLACAZ, which gives the opportunity for everyone to automate their work with limited coding skills by leveraging, as you can see, user-friendly screens, drag and drop functionalities. Business users are able to connect APIs, build rules, connect machine learning applications with others. It helps to increase the speed of the transformation by 20 to 50%. That's another example created by MIT, a virtual data scientist, VDS. This system runs machine learning predictions through an intuitive user interface available on smartphone and tablets. So let us take the example of a medical doctor, as you can see in this video, who wants to understand the correlation between the age of the patients and the likelihood of having a blood disease. The doctor just combines two boxes corresponding to data feature blood disease and to data feature age. And as a result, the interface automatically displays a bar chart of the patient's age distribution. The last critical success factor I wanted to share with you is the acceleration of IA implementations by leveraging technology. By using, for example, process discovery, process mining, data discovery, auto machine learning, automated maintenance, we are able to increase the speed of this transformation and decrease their costs. This is the example of Tab 9, released a few months ago. It is an auto-completer that helps to write code faster. It embeds a deep learning model which provides high-quality suggestions. Tab 9 has been trained on more than 2 million files from GitHub. And we've been able to also leverage this type of technology during the BLACAZ projects, especially for SQL type of coding. So we've talked a lot. I've presented a lot of points around improving productivity and efficiency in business, taking as an example what we've done for BLACAZ. The content of the book goes beyond those points, and we present in the book how does IA help to make our world more human, and those are a few points that we discuss. The first one is the potential to save more than 10 million lives per year by improving clinical trials, research in health and medical, design of molecules in the context of vaccines, for example. The second point is about doubling our global budget for health or for education. thanks to the capacity of intelligent automation to help us save $10 trillion per year. Another key point is the capacity of IA to augment 30% of current work activities while automating or eliminating the rest. And finally, IA is a catalyst to reinvent work in education. It's an opportunity to refocus our society on the most fundamental human values. It was a pleasure to share with you about the book today. And I would be very happy to take any question, any comments from the audience.
Thank you very much, Pascal. It was a very interesting and informative presentation. I have a first question, which is regarding the IA and how does he improve the employee experience. As you know, when we started the process, one of the pain points of our industry, insurance, it's still very much traditional with a lot of paperwork, a massive amount of human interventions to process. And then part of what we did was to improve not only the customer experience in the entire 360 environment, but also making sure that BLACAZ partners are getting a more interesting job. What do you think in terms of industry are still the one where IA can really be used to make employees happier?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the question. And good question. I mean, I think that's, I mean, as I mentioned during this presentation, and as we explain in the book, putting employees in the center of the transformation is critical. It's a really critical success factor. You can't succeed IA and you can't succeed a transformation without people and without involving them, motivating them, incentivizing them. And the first step starts with information and education. Okay, so it's really about explaining what it is, what those people will get from those transformations, how it's going to impact their day-to-day work. And I think we need to be very transparent on that. Because if we don't have those discussions, some employees might fear and be scared by the technology taking their role, basically, instead of understanding that part of the work they are doing today is very tedious, transactional, and repetitive. And thanks to this technology, their work can be shifted to more enjoyable, exciting activities, including more strategy, including more creativity. And the industries that are the most impacted are the industries that have been the most human intensive ones. And you can think of call centers, you can think of back office offshoring type of shared service centers, for example, that are performing those back office functions like finance, HR, customer service, procurement, and those industries are very much impacted by intelligent automation, and impacted the right way. It's really about elevating those people and giving them the opportunity to work on more interesting and exciting activities.
Thank you, Pascal. I see we have a great number of questions, so we'll have to go a bit faster in the questions.
Yeah, thank you very much, Pascal, for that first answer. Thank you for the presentation, and thanks as well to the audience for the large number of questions that you are asking. So one question that we saw recurring from the audience is the concept of IA only applicable for large companies which need to have scale to realize the benefits, and also which may be the only one to have the necessary resources to invest in IA? Or is that also a principle possible to implement for startups or SMEs or smaller companies than larger large companies?
Yes, it's a good question, and my experience is more into supporting those large multinational companies to transform themselves. And I think the origin of this concept of intelligent automation was born in those large organizations that used to tend to be very labor intensive, transactional, and looking for more efficiency, looking for ways to improve productivity. That said, I mean, those companies, those large multinational companies, also have an issue. Is that they and our research in the book confirm this point. They tend to take more time and more efforts to transform themselves from the legacy, from where they used to be 20 years ago, extremely manual. It takes them ages to transform. In the different startups, smaller companies, they start from day one being digitalized, and they have this capacity to do that. And this changes the whole point. I mean, I have the dream to create a company that is managed by one or two people and the rest being automated. And those one or two people could be on the beach.
I remember that very well. So another question which goes in that direction is, how would you start if you're a company and then you're interested to start the transformation process? What would be your first advice after, of course, buying the book and reading it? What will be the first step?
It's a good question, and as you're asking this question, I'm wondering if it's the same process for a large company and a startup. But I think it's the same process, and the process is how I mean, today we are producing value using some processes, and this value is in the form of outputs of the work that we are doing. And the key question is, how can we produce those outcomes faster, better, cheaper, more efficiently? And when you answer this question, whether you're a big company or a small startup, you ask yourself the right questions. Meaning, how do I get from, in the case of BLACAZ, from a client looking for an insurance policy, as quick as possible in just a few minutes, to understand what are the different options this client has, collect the information from the client, get a quote and provide a quote as soon as possible to the client, and finally give the opportunity to this client to sign online. Okay, and that's really about, I think the key point here is about keeping in mind the outcome, what we want to achieve, and forgetting anything about the way we are doing today, but finding shortcuts and ways to achieve as automated as possible way the output that we are looking for.
Yes, exactly, Pascal, and we couldn't agree more. To add on what you were saying, to answer that question, is IA only for large corporations or startup SMEs? We can share a bit of our experience here, because we are a startup and we benefit strongly from these intelligent automation processes. It's just a matter of prioritizing what you want to automatize first. So in our case, it was the user journey for subscribing insurance and managing insurance, as well as the internal processes. So Pascal mentioned HubSpot. That was our main focus. And right now, with the right people in place, even though we are a small team, everyone is collaborating into the same goal. It helped as well increase internal productivity. So most of the tasks are automated, and the team can focus on what really brings value and add more on that intelligent automation processes. So it can start and it can work even for startup or SME. One other question from the audience is, Pascal, in your vision, So you mentioned the profits, monetary profits for companies. You mentioned the employee well-being. Is there other way to measure the success of a tech innovation and of intelligent automation?
Did you mention the clients?
No, so you can go.
So clients definitely is the so clients. I would say so. Clients' feedback is extremely important. Okay, NPS is a key indicator that we explain in the book that helps to understand the satisfaction of clients. Another key criteria and more qualitative one is around the quality of the outcome, quality of the work, the absence of errors, the absence of rework. And from those you can derive a lot of other benefits that are also qualitative, which is for example the increase of the valuation of companies, because when those processes are automated and you get to a level of efficiency and productivity that allows you to produce more with less costs, you automatically you increase your capacity to create value and generate profits.
And to scale up, indeed, as we
exactly, and that's a very good point. So scalability is something that I mean is another critical aspect of intelligent automation. You have a process that is digitalized and automated, increasing the capacity from 5 clients to 500 clients is just a matter of copying and pasting what has been done. Okay, it's I mean this when you're using extensively human resources, you need to hire, and this takes time. You need to train. So it's a lot more complex, a lot more and really slower.
You mentioned during your presentations that a lot of companies today are surviving thanks to the government grants and support. Yes. And my question would be: do you see the government investing massively since we started this COVID crisis into IA? Do you see grants developing support to transform those companies, or purely grants to keep them alive and floating?
It's a very good point, and unfortunately, I would have loved to see more subsidiaries around helping companies to digitalize and automate themselves. But I've only seen, I mean, from my point of view, I've only seen subsidies to help those companies survive. So basically giving them what they should have got as revenue. But as we all know, that's not sustainable. It's, I mean, back to the famous quote, better to teach you how to fish than giving you fishes.
Great, so thank you very much, Pascal, for all those answers. Is that any questions that we didn't ask that you want to make it as a point? Maybe the future trends of intelligent automation. What?
Wow! Don't get me there, because we
still have 10 minutes.
We need 2 more hours.
We can do another webinar, but based in the Silicon Valley, where you've been there for 6 months now in San Francisco.
Yes. Yeah, almost.
You've been based in Singapore. What do you see? Do you see new trends emerging that haven't arrived yet in Asia? Now that you're in the heart of the center of the IA universe.
I see a dynamic, definitely. That was in Asia, of course, but it's another dimension here. You go and a proximity as well. You go across the road and you find investors. You go across the road and you find other startups that are ready to work with you and to create synergies and convergences. So definitely, it's a different ecosystem, I would say, and this is really helpful to grow a company.
So we got some more questions from the audience. How will AI and IA and the development of artificial intelligence be preventing from threatening the privacy of data? Do you think it can be sustainable to protect our privacy?
Definitely, and that's a very good question, a very I would say very trendy question currently. I think it's a matter of responsibility, and this responsibility lies on companies and governments, in my view. Companies need to make sure they use well the data they collect from their clients, from their users, and only gets only utilize those data at aggregate level, for example. Never use those data at individual level to protect the privacy and to protect the ethics. Secondly, at government level, we've seen all those policies that help to protect the data, the privacy of data, and that's something that is a good first step. I think the next step for the government is about enforcing that any company uses data with ethics, in the sense of using those data in the context of machine learning training, to avoid biases, to avoid and that's the responsibility of both governments to enforce this, but companies as well, to make sure that when they train a machine learning algorithm, they train it on data that they've been able to analyze before, to avoid those bias. So, for example, in one of the work that I'm doing currently, it's about automating decisions. And the way we automate those decisions started to be through identifying the interaction of users with recommendations that we give them. So basically, users can either accept, reject, or modify a recommendation as the starting point for their decisions. But if you only learn based on this, you learn from the humans, and all humans are the same. We are biased entities. So we found a way to triangulate this information with the actual impacts that from those decisions. So when a recommendation comes and tells you you should buy this amount of product from this supplier, and you will be able to save X amount of millions, when the actual impact of this decision comes, it can be 1 week, it can be 2 weeks, it can be 1 month later, maybe 1 year later, you are able to check whether what you expected as an impact has been realized or not. And that's the only way to triangulate and make sure that you train your algorithm on the truth, on what happened, and not on subjective actions from humans.
Thank you very much. We have received a very interesting questions regarding IA in the use of healthcare, which obviously it's a very key topic these days. Is there any IA application / use cases in healthcare which you find particularly promising? And the second part of the question is it most mature to be implemented and adopted?
Wow.
Perhaps we can
we talk a lot about it in the book. So we first of all, we talk about the promise of IA in healthcare, okay, with the capacity to save more than 10 million lives per year. And we explain how we got to this estimation in our research. And this includes clinical trials, diagnosis, the support in diagnosis, for example, in using computer vision to analyze X-rays and be able to identify a tumor in just a few seconds with a level of accuracy that is way higher than a doctor. So it's really about helping the doctors to be faster and better in doing these tasks. And of course, the impact on lives is huge, because especially cancers, early detection is critical. I mean, in the rate of survival of the patients. So that's really critical. So we explain what is the promise, and the promise is those 10 million of lives we can save every year. And at the end of the book, we get into, I think we have more than 5 pages of use cases in the health industry, and that covers everything from helping hospitals and doctors to take appointments online, to manage their schedules intelligently, to manage the workloads of nurses and doctors intelligently, to manage the procurement of medicines, again, intelligently, based on the patients that we have, based on predictions of patients that we will have, an illness that will come based on, for example, the season, the weather, up to, of course, managing the analysis of the diagnosis with the level of accuracy and prediction that really provides an insight that, I mean, helps again to diagnose earlier issues and be more proactive, which is critical in this sector. Of course, that's only a few ones, but there are a lot of use cases in the book.
I think we have everything to do another webinar in a couple of months' time to answer those questions.
We have maybe a last one that we are just receiving from the audience. So, is IA capable of integrate across all software and operating platforms? So probably within different departments.
Think of IA like not a replacement of the current systems that we are using. I'm thinking here of ERPs, for example, in large companies. Mm-hmm. I mean, those foundational systems are still necessary to structure the data in the company. And to allow the transactions. Okay, and this is a foundation. IA sits on top of this. Okay, it's really in the dimension where we as humans currently used to play a role. And what we do is basically helping those systems, those foundations, get the data, process this data, and get to outcomes. So it's not. I mean, it's really two layers that are very different. Okay, and that are complementary the one to the other. Okay, and IA plays on the layer where human resources used to play a role. Okay, so it's really about helping those human resources to get to a higher level of work, which again here is more enjoyable, interesting, and also provides more value. Okay. So and to the point of the cross-functional aspects. So intelligent automation provides higher benefits when it is applied to end-to-end processes. Okay. For example, for BLACAZ, what we've done is not only the onboarding of clients, but also the quote process, and then the capacity to get the clients sign and a document, and then the capacity for the client to get the final transaction get the invoice and get the payment and so on. So it's really the overall end-to-end process that we've automated, and that's the same in any company. It's really by automating end-to-end processes that we create the highest value, that we create the synergies basically. And if you have a hole, in this end-to-end process, if one of those activities still remains manual, it becomes a bottleneck automatically, and you can't scale. You'll see it right away. You can't scale it. You can't. Okay, so this involves automatically different functions, from customer service to operations to accounting to procurement and so on.
Great. Thank you so much, Pascal, for taking time to share your passion with us.
Thank you.
I know it's already late in San Francisco, but it was a great pleasure. Of course, I would like to thank all the people who attended the webinar. And if you want to keep talking about AI or IA, there are several ways. One of them is to follow Pascal on LinkedIn. Pascal is a top voice on LinkedIn, and he shares a lot on a daily basis, a lot of very interesting contents. So it's Pascal Bornet. Of course, you can buy the book on Amazon if you're interested to go further, and that's a very, very interesting book to explore, especially the business cases that were very useful. I would like also to thank again the Singapore Manufacturing Federation and the French Chamber of Commerce who have supported us in this webinar. And thank you all and very much for all your questions, your time, dedication, and wish you all a good day or a good night.
Thank you very much, Pascal, and thanks everyone for joining.
Thank you. Bye, thanks everyone.
Thank you
Have
very
a good
much.
day, good night.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye. See you.
Bye.